I was asked about how to deal with feeling used by those that take from you and don't replenish. I swear somebody's looking into my personal diary and asking all of these questions. So let me see if I can make this succinct because there are a couple of things. Well, there are a few things that come up for me. Number one, how to deal with feeling used. The feeling belongs to you, so the feelings are always attached to a thought, and the thoughts will always show us something, right? They'll show us what we believe at our core. They'll show us the stories that we're telling ourselves. They'll even reveal the truths, which can be, some of what I've already mentioned. People who take, some things to consider. Maybe the relationship worked for you in the beginning, and now it has become a nuisance. Maybe their taking is a function of you needing them to play that role, to fulfill some personal need, the need to be of service, the need to demonstrate how humble you are or how giving you are. The other thing about people that take from us is we teach people how to treat us. So somewhere in there, we get to take responsibility for being present. They can only take if something is present. So we may need to restructure our relationship, or we may need to release ourselves from those relationships. I know this is callous, but this is what came up. If you've ever gone to the bathroom in a public stall or seen somebody come out of a public stall, you're happy that there was toilet paper in the public stall, but you're not happy when the toilet paper is stuck to your shoe. Well, there are some people in our lives that are like the toilet paper stuck to our shoe. They remind us where we were. So you may need not only to remove the piece of paper, but you may want to be mindful and go back to where you were, where you connected, and find out what their role was. Maybe they were always an annoyance. Maybe they were always taking, and you made up reasons, rationalizations, justifications for keeping them in and around. Well, that's worth looking at because, again, they can only take because something is available for the taking. Some other things to play with or consider. Take a look at what people are taking and then find out how you are doing that to you. Remember, for me, what's true is we're always mirroring back something to somebody. So if somebody comes into my life and they take money, let me take a look at where I'm taking money for granted, where I'm spending money unwisely, where I'm spending money unknowingly. For example, you may have a couple of apps on your phone. I found this out with my wife. We were going through phones and, $9 came out of here, $2 came out of there, $39 came out of here once every year, only to find out I was in reoccurring subscriptions for things that I wasn't even using, right? So if people are taking money, find out where you're taking money from you. If people are taking your emotional time or your emotional energy, which emotions are most present in your life that are draining your energy? If people are just wasting your time, now mind you, you're responsible for giving your time, right? They can't take what's not available, but let's pretend like it really is about the other people. Then if they're taking your time, then where are you taking your time? Some relationships worked for where we were. And as the analogy that I've used in recent years for myself is that they're like stages in rockets. Some people are only there for the first stage and then they peel away. There isn't a rocket that has, boosters that peel off and the rocket reaches out a mechanical arm to grab them, to keep them. It releases them because they've done their job, played their role. So to the degree that you're willing to play with any of these suggestions, you will begin to notice a shift in your external world, the law of cause and effect. So whatever is happening internally is showing up in my external world, right? Or the law of correspondence, if you want that. My physical world corresponds to my internal conversation, or the energy that I have internally produces stuff externally. So if I want to reduce the amount of taking that's going on, let me do the internal work. And then I may begin to notice that the frequency with which people take, and the frequency with which I'm available for people to take, and the frequency with which I honor my boundaries. And remember, boundaries are not barriers, they're principles that you live by, or by which you live. So when people decide that they want to cross those boundaries or push those boundaries, they're giving you some insight into the type of relationship you have, which will make it easier for you to say yes to the relationships that honor you and no to the ones that do not. How to deal with feeling used by people who take and don't replenish. The replenishing is the last part. Give and receive love. That's what the heart chakra deals with. It's fourth chakra out of the seven. It's the bridge between the lower self, the lower human self, and the higher spiritual self, or the higher elevated enlightened self. And it's the heart where we tend to serve from. And I love this question because it comes from, everybody that I know that's a Piscean. I call them Piscean twin, right? Because they're two fish. That's the twin thing. So, I understand this, but it's not unique to Pisceans. But Pisceans tend to serve. And people who tend to serve can serve to a fault, or serve to a degree that they're giving, and never requesting, never asking, never being open and available to receive. So sometimes people take because that's the only role we've given them in our lives. We're always serving, but we never ask, can we come to your house? We're always inviting them to our party, but we never ask, can we come to your party? And then we sit back and get upset because they didn't invite us to our party. Well, we never said we wanted to come to their party. And if we ask, and they're clear that we've asked, can we come to your party? Can we come have a meal at your house? Can we get together? Can I cry on your shoulder? If the answer is no, then they're telling you no to the type of relationship that you think it is. Sometimes we are operating from the illusion of a healthy, nurturing, loving relationship. And we're operating from the ideal that if I do more, give more, that somehow this will shift and I'll be able to receive. Well, some people only know to take, and some people only know to receive. Some people only know to give. The balanced or the harmonious experience is knowing how to give and to receive in equal measure. When you do that, you'll find that yes, there will still be people that show up in your life to take, and yes, they may be mirroring back to you somewhere in your life where you're taking unconsciously. But they also may be there to remind you of the principles that you say matter, so that you can show up as bold, so you can show up as truthful, so you can show up as honest, so that you can show up as loving, so you can show up as caring. That's what the boundaries are. Boundary of commitment to self, or self-love, or honoring oneself. That sets a boundary that tells the world what is requested of you to be in relationship, such that the relationship honors both individuals. Then you'll notice a decrease in the taking, and perhaps more of the replenishing, because you're inviting relationships into your life that nurture, honor your journey. I hope that supports your journey. Whew, y'all asking some tough questions. Be gentle with yourself.